Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at Mad World Tarot. And I have a new tarot deck on the tarot table today, the Storytellers Tarot. I picked it up a few weeks ago and I haven't used it, but now its time has come. And the reason its time has come is because Harry is back in the UK slaying dragons, and there's a dragon on the box, the face of the box, the cover of the box. So back slaying dragons. We're going to do a Celtic cross. We're going to see how it's going. Apparently the court case starts tomorrow. Finally, this is the famous case that Harry is bringing against the NGN newspaper group. It's basically Rupert Murdoch's group of newspapers. I don't think only newspapers, and of course he tried to get Rupert Murdoch involved in the case directly, but failed to do that, and also suffered a setback about a week or 10 days ago when poor Mr. Justice Fancourt, who seems to be burdened with all of these cases, he chucked out a whole lot of witness statements that Harry's lawyer had put forward, saying that they were just opinion, they were commentary, they were not evidence. Judge sounded quite annoyed, said that the lawyer should have excluded these statements but didn't. It doesn't bode well for the old big-haired guy, does it? Buffon-haired lawyer. So, as I said, Celtic cross coming up with the Storyteller Tarot. First time it's out on the tarot table, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how I go with it, and how Harry is going to do in court. We're going to look at the Buckingham Palace story next. The fact that he declined an offer of accommodation at Buckingham Palace rather to stay in a hotel. And what's that about? But for now, the court case, reading from Harry's point of view, Celtic cross. Let us see. Okay, yeah, we've got jumping cards now. Thank you very much. Let's see what's going on. Celtic cross, Harry's point of view. Believe that he's pretty anxious. He's been drilled, so he performs better on the witness stand this time around. Left Madame crying on the floor. And flying back in, he might even be there by now, because as I say, apparently this case kicks off tomorrow in London. Finally. And I think lots of eyes will be on it to see what is going to happen. Eyes like Piers Morgan, Rupert Murdoch, Madame in Montecito. Is going to be any money left for herself to spend? He's burning through it in these court cases. Five of Scepters, conflict card, very appropriate as our underlying energy in this reading. Scepters are wands in this tarot deck, and the Five of Scepters is all about conflict, one-upmanship, struggling, resting, testing yourself against someone else. And this is the Dragon Slayer. As I say, that's why we have this Storyteller Tarot on the tarot deck and tarot table, and there it is. It's just showing itself. We're in the realm of conflict. We know that. So it's just confirming that that's what we're dealing. This testing energy, I think, is what's interesting about that card as our underlying energy. So situation for Harry, the heart of this issue is the Six of Spikes, which are swords, and he's coming back. Six of Spikes, swords, is about taking yourself away when it's upright, leaving your troubles behind you, going overseas, going into calmer waters, transitioning away from something that's difficult to something that's quieter, more serene, more peaceful. It's in reverse. So he is still stuck in his troubles, in this conflict energy, and he's actually coming back physically to dip into this energy of conflict yet again. This endless energy of conflict that started around the time that Madame showed up in his life, and I don't think that's coincidental. And I did I think say my disclaimer, can't remember, I've gone completely blank about what happened earlier in this reading, which is weird, but let's put an allegedly in there and all my opinion and all of that, and disclaimer in the box below in case I I forgot to say it. It says strange. Suddenly there was this just weird. It's like I got transported somewhere else. What's the problem? The Page of Spikes is the Page of Swords. That's his crossing card, his challenge, what he's wrestling with on this return. It's a kind of research, really. The Page of Spikes, bracing yourself, preparing yourself, getting ready for some kind of attack, because it's about strategy and being prepared, doing your homework, finding stuff out, getting ready. This is his problem. His problem is having to master all of the stuff that he's had to master, and maybe memorize things. I don't think that's his strong suit particularly. And get on top of all the documents, the information. I'm just getting a pile of paperwork. And if you've ever seen them going to court, well, in the old days, I don't know what it's like now, but if you see them going to court, they go with some sort of trolleys full of those huge, I call them box files, just full of paper. I'm sure it's all got electronic now, but in the good old days, that's how it happened, and those things got wheeled to court. Harry has to know what's in that stuff somehow. Page of Swords. So what's going on behind the scenes? We heard he was in a bit of a panic, according to Neil Sean anyway, and my readings backed that energy up that I did a while back, and wanted to bring his therapist along with him. How's he doing deep down here? What's going on there? The Fool. Feeling quite intrepid, feeling quite confident about things. This is a fresh energy of the Fool off on a big adventure. Feeling brave, quite gung-ho, almost reckless. I can do this. Leap of faith. I'm ready. I'm bold. I'm gonna go and get this dragon. Really, it has that sense of setting off in a hero's journey, the Fool, and off to find the dragon to slay. So he's quite amped for this. Let's just say very confident in the behind the scenes energy. I suppose the moment has come, and he's got to be ready by now. If he's not ready, then they need to settle, they need to call it off. So what's his mind on, his goal, his focus right now? Where is he? And we've got, it's herself. We've got the Empress, and it's in reverse. The Empress. And I don't know the significance of all these little stories. I haven't really read the little book. I did flip through it, so I can't give you behind the scenes what these stories are actually about. But we're telling our own story here on the tarot table today, and we have the Empress. That's Meghan's energy. There is also, of course, Mummy Diana in there, because I think he's avenging Mummy Diana. And the way the British tabloids hounded her, that's what he believes. And we know that he believes because we read it in Vanity Fair, so it must be true. We know that he believes that his mummy was essentially murdered, and it's a miracle that he's turned out to be the good guy that he has turned out to be. So there's a sense here of avenging Mummy Diana's death, whereas we know from those tabloid guys, that one in particular who shows up on the Daily Mail channel on YouTube, I can't remember his name now, older guy, he was very close to Diana. I think he even spoke to her on the day she died. She used to phone him. She used to hide in his car, and that's not allegedly. Harry doesn't seem to have made this connection, and allegedly Diana actually alerted the tabloids to the fact that they were leaving the hotel in Paris and they were going back to Dodie's apartment. She told them. So there, he's avenging Mummy Diana's death, and we've seen, as I say, in the Vanity Fair article, that he really has got a huge issue with Mummy. And it's also Meghan's energy. I need to bring Meghan into this, because Meghan is going through her own dark night of the soul back in Montecito with all the bad press, and allegedly was trying to prevent him from traveling to the UK to attend this case because she needed him so much. He's got women troubles, shall we say, and I don't mean it that way. So let's look at past energy. particular energy I want to look at as the fact that Mr. Justice Fancourt chucked out some of those witness statements, lots of witness statements, because they weren't statements, they were opinion pieces that people were writing for court. How did that feel for Harry, the Emperor in reverse? Out of control. A real big smackdown. He didn't like it at all. He wants to be the big guy in this situation. He wants to be the one in charge. He thinks because he's a prince, he is. And of course he's had an easy ride with the British courts. So far, Meghan won her case. She shouldn't have, in my opinion. That was farcical against the Daily Mail. He's been allowed to get away with stuff that I think other people, normal people, wouldn't have got away with. That is my personal opinion. He's angry. He's angry about it because the Emperor is very arrogant energy. When the Emperor is in reverse, that ego is just rampant energy. He didn't like being put in his place. He didn't like being told, you can't do that. That big, that trolley full of statements which are all speculative, take that away. Could not believe that he was being told off like that, or big-haired lawyer was being told off like that. Very indignant, outraged. In fact, not indignant, outraged. That's the past energy, in my opinion. How's the first few days going to go of this case? Is it going to settle him? Is he going to be confident about things? He's very confident here, perhaps overconfident. That fool energy. I mean, you could say that fool energy is fool's errand. But let's see. First few days, how's it going to go? Ooh, he's not going to like it. Three of Spikes. That's the Three of Swords. That's the broken heart. These cards, even though they are telling stories, they're not telling Rider-Waite type of stories. So you have to know your way around Rider-Waite to know what they mean, actually, unless you really invest in learning these stories that these cards represent. Three of Swords, normally three swords through a heart, betrayal, wounds. I think he's not going to believe the things that he hears, the things that happen in court. And I mean, things that go against him are not going to go well. The early things, he might hear some really difficult things, wounding things, whether it's what the palace produces. I'm losing track, but I think this is the case, that the palace has been told, stump up the emails and the whatever. There is some degree of devastation that he's going to have to deal with in the first few days of this case. It's going to be difficult for him. Whatever level, I don't know. It's not resonating for me in terms of what the heartache, the anguish is about. But it's going to be difficult for him. Let's put it like that. His view of NGN, newspapers, Rupert Murdoch in particular, them, what does he feel towards them at the moment? The Four of Coins, and it's in reverse. He wants to really ruin them financially. He wants to put them out of business. It's about control. It's about, I guess, control of the media, but also control of resources. The Four of Coins is being all about the money and making damn sure that you are very secure financially. He wants to disrupt that. He wants to, as I say, I think he wants to ruin them financially. I don't think, from what I understand, British courts make those kinds of awards, damages. I think they're quite low compared with American litigation, where you can destroy someone with litigation. I don't think he's going to do that, but he does seem to want to destabilize them. And maybe that would be if it emerged that some of the people who've always denied that they were involved got fingered in this court case, like people like Piers Morgan and the rest of them, with some other big names in the press. I think the guy who currently is the editor of Washington Post, from my limited knowledge of this case, I'm not accusing anyone, of course, I'm just saying that these are names that are mentioned, that Harry is trying to go after, apparently, shall we say allegedly, wants to really pull the rug out from under them, basically. What pressure is Harry under, apart from having to learn all kinds of things? I don't think he's that confident learning. And we've got the Knight of Coins in reverse. This is himself, that he's anxious about, not anxious about, this is pressure from outside. It's his reputation that's problematic now, in the sense of you're out of the royal family, you're staying out of the royal family, you're not staying with him at Buckingham Palace, you're no longer a prince. We might have to call you Prince Harry in court and reference your HRH when we do paperwork, as they did in that other case. Maybe it's this case, as I say, lost track, there's so many. He likes to be called HRH and called Prince Harry and all that stuff. But he really is a nobody now. We figured that out from the Emperor in reverse. So the pressure is on him that he's actually going to have to perform. He can't get away with, I'm Prince Harry, and therefore I win the case. It's not going to work like that. So it's kind of a destabilizing energy for him. He wants to destabilize the newspaper group and the people involved, the high-ups in that group, present and past. But he himself, his own reputation is at stake out there in the world. He's not regarded well anymore. He's not regarded as someone who's solid, stable, reliable, truthful, grounded. He's got all kinds of issues around himself, issues he's brought on himself by writing that book Spare, among other things. So he's got problems, that's for sure. Hopes and fears for Harry. Got the Queen of Spikes, and the Queen of Spikes, I think, is the judicial process that I think he's concerned about. It's Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords represents truth and justice and fairness and wit and stuff like that. I think he's worried about the cross-examination. Even though it's a queen, and you could say it's the late queen and stuff like that, I don't think that's particularly relevant. She can't save him. The only thing that might be associated with her that he might hope is that agreement that he claimed was in place between the royal family and the press is provable. So he might hope that. It's a bit of a wild and random hope. He might be betrayed right there in the hope that this is going to be proved. But more at a personal level, actually day to day in court, I think he's concerned about the court process and how he's going to keep up with it, because it's all cut and thrust. And, these are people who are quite switched on, educated, clever, practiced at what they do, expert at what they do. And how's he going to handle all of that? Follow it, understand it. So I think he is quite nervous at an intellectual level, as well as hoping that the Queen might have written a secret letter, that they open a book in the library and find, yes, there was, like she intervened in that case against that awful butler who stole things allegedly, and then as Queen last minute remembered. I think he's kind of expecting that to happen, or hoping something like that will happen. Quite weird. But we know he is quite weird, and he is quite stunted in his development. Allegedly, my opinion, my inexpert opinion, I'm just expressing here. I'm doing a tarot reading. Outcome for Harry. How's it going to go? Is he going to be saved by the British legal system again? Ooh. Strength card in reverse. That's what happens to the Dragon Slayer when he goes off. He goes off on his big adventure, and it doesn't go well. This is for him. I'm reading his point of view. I'm not reading the monarchy's point of view, anything like that. Strength in reverse. Weakened, damaged, exposed. I'm getting ridiculed. There's that word in there. He's going to look quite pitiful somewhere along the line in this case. Even if they do what they did in that last one and say, okay, yeah, you've sort of proved maybe some of your claims, and so we'll give you the benefit of the doubt on some of them, and we'll give you small amount of damages, but here's the huge legal bill. I'm getting the same vibe here. He might win a few, but he's going to lose a lot. He's going to lose a lot of dignity. The Leo energy, the lion in that strength card, is about dignity and personal courage and conviction and brave heart energy. And oh dear, it's in reverse. This is going to be interesting to watch. In fact, at the moment, there's just too much that's interesting to watch. Don't you feel it? I feel it. Anyway, there it is. That's the reading. That's the Dragon Slayer's adventure in a nutshell on the tarot table. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.